Welcome back to another video where I answer a question that was posted on the Jet message boards. Mark here actually posted a great question, and his idea was correct. Unfortunately, there is one fatal flaw to it. So let's go through his question here. He's trying to pull back some information from his data warehouse and an unposted purchase invoice and credits table, and he only wants to pull back the first record from this table, and so he's adding this line number of 10,000, right? A lot of times our lines are 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, or maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever it might be. But he's noting here this caveat that some invoices don't have a line 10,000, but instead start at 20,000 as their minimum. And so this causes a problem because if we were to filter and say, give me line 10,000, all these ones that start at 20,000 are going to get filtered out. And so he's trying to nest in this NL first with some NF functions in there. And the idea is right. However, this functionality where you nest in an NL first with some NFs only works for NAV and BC data sources. Fortunately, Mark, you are using a data warehouse. So this functionality does not work against a SQL data source, which like your data warehouse or GP or any other SQL data source, which is why you're getting this error that this filter is not working properly. So how would I go about solving your issue? Well, it's kind of a roundabout way, and so let's take a look at that. I don't have a data warehouse, so I'm going to pretend here. This is just an old nav data source. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that my purchase line table is your data warehouse table. It's kind of similar, where you have all your lines in a table, right? That's kind of what I have here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a unique list of the document numbers. If I had other filters, I would add them on here, right? Your data source, your company, maybe your dates, your specific type of document, whatever it might be. I'm just going to let this flow. I only have like 29 records in here. It's not very many. So I'm just going to say, hey, give me a unique list of those document numbers from that purchase line. Okay, so when I run this, I get one row per document number. Okay, so now I need to get that line number, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create another NL function. This time I'm going to create an NL first. I'm going to go back to that same purchase line table, right? My data warehouse table. This time I'm going to leave the field blank. What I'm doing is here, I'm creating a first key. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, where the document number is this value right here. And this time I'm going to add a sort and say, okay, well, where the line number, it could be anything, but put it in ascending order. So now what is this going to do? It's going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go out to this purchase line table. I'm going to look for that document number. I'm going to reorganize this so that it's in ascending order of line numbers. And then I'm going to grab the top one off the list. So I'm going to hit OK, and we end up with this key. Now, when I run this, I end up with, the gibberish. Now, my data obviously is very clean. You can see that first one is always 10,000. But when you run yours, you might see some 10,000s, you might see some 20,000s, right? Now that I have that key, which it seems like that's what you were after, now I can add my NFs, right? I can add that to say, well, I can even validate this and say, well, give me my line number, and my posting date and item number and quantity, right? I can do all those things in here. I forget what it is. What is the date? I can never remember what the date is in here. Order date. Sure, I'll put that in there. Item number. I think it's just number in here. And our quantity. And order quantity. We'll just say quantity invoice. Sure, I'm just picking one, whatever here. Doesn't really matter. And so now what I've done is I've made it so I will get a unique list of my documents. And now, because of this key, it will just generate a, an individual record pulling that very first line from each of those documents, and I can pull those NFs uh, down the line for what I need. So obviously I would hide this key in my report. I might even hide this document number if that's what you don't need. Or if you want that further over, I might do something like this where I would actually hide this, and maybe I put the, just for fun, I put this over here, and I just say, hey, this is equal to this value over here. And of course, I would put in my fits wherever they might be. And of course, you don't necessarily need to put that line number in there. That was just for my validation. And so you might want to put in that validation for yourself just so you see it. So hopefully that helps you out, Mark, and hopefully that solves your problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us here at Cascadia DataWorks, and have yourself a great day.